Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to this new video. As you can see, I've got a new piece of equipment. It's the Behringer K-2. It came this morning, was just released, and pre-ordered it right away. Same form factor as the Neutron, as you can see. Unfortunately, it is just like the original hertz per octave, not voltage per octave, but of course you can still use other modular equipment to modulate certain parameters here on the patch bay. So build quality, overall I must say it feels almost a bit light, but it is still a super nice compact unit, just like the Neutron. And the knobs, they have, at least these clicky ones, they are really super stiff and give a very satisfying click. You really need some force to change it. But I like them better than the Model D octave switches that they had. Now the knobs itself, there are some plastic matte finish. So I must say I like these ones more. They have this kind of retro vibe to them. But yeah, these are nice as well. I mean, they get the job done. They are smaller though than on the other devices that they have, but it's okay. But it may not get any smaller than this, or we will be in Roland boutique territory, and they should avoid that at all costs. Now these filter knobs, they feel nice. Really good play to them. There's no wobble whatsoever, and yeah, you really have a good feeling on them, and that's important. So they added 2 filter types here that you can switch between. By default it comes as at filter 2, which is the cleaner version, and filter 1 gives you the original type that has this kind of noise carpet at the top end, that what I will demonstrate in a bit. So tuning wise, it's very stable, I must say. I put it on, and when you go at 12 o'clock, you're almost at unison right away. So on the other device that I had, like for example the Neutron, where you had to go a bit off center to get it in unison, so it wasn't really at 12 o'clock that you could expect to be yeah, where you should land in order to tune them in sync. So yeah, let's check out some sounds. This is the original filter now, there was filter 1. And you can hear there's some noise going on in the background there as soon as the envelope opens. Now let's compare this to the filter 2. It's basically, it's almost like noise on, noise off. But what makes it special is when you go in the high resonance areas, especially in the low end. Let me demonstrate. So I put resonance on maximum, and now this is the more modern filter, filter 2. Kind of Daft Punky. So you get a nice roll off here at the lower end. Now let's switch that to filter 2. So filter 1 is more of a floor shaker than filter 2, but they are both nice, but they just have different qualities, and it's great that you can choose between them. And I can't say which one I like best, but I would say for general work I would probably go with filter 2, and yeah, if I want to go really nasty I would probably go with filter 1. So let's bring this down to 50% again. Or let's just open it up completely and add oscillator 2, and let's demonstrate a bit of the pitch controls. And now we can, yeah, well, as you can hear, that's pretty stable across the board. Can mix and match as soon as you pitch them to be in unison. Yeah, they seem to track nicely. Now you can also use the master tune to once you have yeah, detuned or tuned them together, you can use the master tune to bring them all as one unit down or up. Okay, portamento. Seems to be about 4 seconds at maximum. Okay, speaking of seconds, envelope. Maximum release time seems to be around 8 or 9 seconds. Maximum attack time is around 4 to 5 seconds. Yeah, and then there's this hold time, which is special about this envelope generator. Though in my tests I found like it's not something that you would expect to be at the beginning of the attack or of the envelope. So I don't know why they placed it up here. When you hear what it does, it should be more like down here between sustain and release. I was always thinking, just looking at the panel, that the hold time adds a variation of an attack phase. For an attack, it's exponential going up, and the hold time I was expecting like it goes in a straight line, maximum volume, then hold time, and then drops to sustain level. That is what I was thinking it does, but hearing it in effect, it does not seem to do that at all. So it's more like a variation of a release time. So the release time, it slowly fades out, and with the hold time, it just stays steady for the duration. So yeah, that's just a little PSA there, so you don't get thrown off by why is it at top and why is it not changing anything that starts at the beginning. So the smallest amount of envelope that you get is this plug. It's not as clicky as let's say the envelope on the neutron. So let's demonstrate. On the neutron, this is what you get. That's all. Now, to liken it to the K2 or the MS-20 in general, I have to open up the decay a bit. So that's the type of envelope that you get at the lowest settings on the K2. But I would much prefer if it really would be this clicky. Speaking of clicks, here you can still hear them, but you can get rid of them if you increase a bit of the attack on release. So this is just like the K20. And here on the K20, clicks basically are non-existing. They already wrote it off, the tag and the release, and yeah, the decay is not really zero. There's I would say it's 0.4 or 5 or 6. So yeah, just yeah, it's normal. That's all I wanted to say. Now about that attack hold time or release time, I mean. So now we got no release. Now with release, you can hear it fade out. Now with hold time, I let go. So it just holds the sustain after you lift the finger off the key. And that's the difference. It doesn't do anything to the attack phase. It's not even part of it. So, okay, and then we got this envelope generator here and the LFO. The LFO is pretty slow compared to other synthesizers. So let's demonstrate this here. And that's it. That's the maximum. We can compare that to the LFO of the neutron. Yeah, a lot better. But yeah, that's the beauty if you have both. You can just borrow some features from the other synthesizer that you like better. Now, what else is there? So we checked out the LFO. Now the second envelope generator by default is mapped to the oscillator frequency. So let's just use that. It has an attack phase and a release phase and also a delay. So a delay basically means that when you press the knob, there's a certain amount of time that will then pass, and then it starts the attack and release. So let's check how it works. So for release to work, there also needs to be an open envelope. So you gotta add some release time or hold time to hear the effect of it. So let me demonstrate by just using the attack, no delay, and add it to the oscillator pitch. So that's basically, I told it to take this amount of time to get to this amount of added pitch. So it's 5 at the moment. You can also use 10 amount maximum. So, and as you can hear, as soon as I lift the finger, it cuts off. So that's why you need a release time on the second envelope. Maybe not this long. And now we can use the release time to bring down this amount of added pitch. Now it goes down again. And you can hear this effect for as long as there's still sound coming out of envelope 2. Now let's combine that with the hold time, because in the hold time it keeps the sound playing, or it keeps the envelope open, but it doesn't reduce the volume over time, which might be an interesting twist on that. So then it just cuts off as if you would lift the finger, because the whole time ran out. Okay, so that's the second envelope that you can use. Of course, you can rewire all these envelopes and put them somewhere else. Yeah, and also, of course, you can, as I showed, use external sources to modulate cutoff and the pitch. So yeah, and that's pretty much it. Let's talk about the high pass filter for a second, because I didn't mention it in my demo. That's because the filter 1 and 2 switch doesn't do anything for the sound of the high pass filter. That's the same on both variations, I think. So I couldn't hear any differences. The difference that I could hear, they came from the noise floor added by the low pass filter. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's the K2. That's my first impressions and a little overview as well. So yeah, I hope you liked this video. Leave a like if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't. I usually do jams. Every now and then I do a little tutorial like this one, and I think in the future I will show you my next device that I got, which is now my main sequencer, and we'll do some tutorials on that one. So yeah, stay tuned, stick around, yeah, and keep creating. Bye.